Are you deciding whether to get the classic flap or the business affinity? Now I have these both in the small size. There are quite a lot of similarities between these two, but I'm going to show you as much as I can compare between them. I'm going to go through the size, the measurements, what fits inside, what comes with the bag, how useful each bag is so that you would have an idea of which bag you'll gravitate towards. The classic flap is renowned for being so classic looking because it was the original design by Coco Chanel and then reinvented by Karl Lagerfeld with the CC turn lock and the chain strap. It is a beautiful bag that I love and adore. This is actually my favorite bag out of all of my bags. The reason being is because it's pink and it's a size that I always gravitate and use. Recently this year I did add this to my collection, and this is the business affinity, and they do come about similar in size. This one's a little bit narrower, but then it comes at a different width and size. So I'm going to start off with the dust bags because they both come in different versions. The first one I'm going to show you is the one with the classic flap, and it also has this classic flap design. I know this is the slightly older design because they now came up with a new one. The difference between this one and the new one is that this is more of the same material that you use to clean your bag with the buffing cloth, but the new one is more of a cottony and more breathable material. And if you are buying pre-loved, then this is what you would expect to get. It has the quilted design with the Chanel logo on there, and then inside we have Coco Chanel with Karl Lagerfeld's signature on there, just to say that this was Karl Lagerfeld's reinvention of the bag. This is a really nice dust bag because you can clean the bag with this, and inside you have the main pocket, and then at the top you have the extra pocket which you can store the chain in, but I don't really use it in that same way because I tuck the chain into the bag. But also I store my bags in a drawer if I am at home, but if I am abroad then I'll store it in the dust bag in its upright position, and I'll still tuck the chain on the inside. Then when I got my business affinity, I got this dust bag instead. This is a black dust bag and it's more of that cottony material. So I think that the newer version of the classic flat bag will be more of this kind of material where it is a little bit more breathable, and it is fully black with the Chanel logo on there. And then on the ends you have this drawstring mechanism where you can just tighten the bag and then you can store your bag in there. So this is not as nice and luxurious as this one in my opinion, because this one's a lot softer, but I have seen other people request for the Chanel classic flap dust bag for any of the other bags so that they can have a nicer protection. Moving on to the comparison, so they are similar in height in terms of just the main body of the bag. So next I'm going to talk about the features of the bag. They both have the CC turn lock on each of them. The business affinity has a slightly larger CC compared to the classic flap, and also it has this little stamp on the end of it which says Chanel Paris. It's got the CC logo on there. I got both of these in the champagne gold hardware because this is something that's really pretty and something that I really enjoy. They both have the same turn lock mechanism so that you can turn it and then unlock the main compartment of the bag. The only difference I would have to say is that in the classic flap you have the main lip area rather than from the full flap. On the back you have a main pocket, and this classic flap has this little pocket here which is also inspired by the Mona Lisa smile, and you can fit about maybe a card or two in here, and I only use that for traveling when I'm using the Oyster card in the London Tube, and it's just useful to add that little touch in there so that it's easy to access. On the business affinity we have the pocket that lines all the way across, and you do have a slight 1 centimeter that is stitched over the side so that you can't really access the whole of it, but it just does secure it all into place. And you can fit quite a bit in there. You can fit a whole card holder in there. I think you can fit some of the smaller iPhones in there, not the larger phones now because that is just huge. So mine's the OnePlus 7T Pro. Definitely with these little stitchings on the side you cannot fit it in, but with a card holder you can fit that all inside there. And then on the inside of the classic flap you have the main flap at the top, which was Chanel's love letter pocket, and then you have the second flap which has everything inside, so everything was tucked in there. I do have a bag organizer in there because this is leather lined, and inside you have two main little pockets and then one lipstick pocket, and then it's just one wide opening inside. And then at the front you have a slit here so that you can fit any of the little receipts seats or anything thin in there, or a passport can fit in there. That's what's the capacity inside. And then of course here you have the CC logo and the gold stamping here to say Chanel made in France. On here we open it up and we have a nice wide opening here, and the difference here is that we don't have the second flap and we also don't have the love letter pocket, but inside we have a very wide opening. It can be extended more because of these little stretchy pockets here where you can close it up with a button, and at the back we have a zipper pocket which is all fabric lined. And then at the top we have a little fabric pocket. It just helps with organizing the bag. And another amazing difference here is that at the front you have another pocket which you can zipper around, and then you have something that can fit a nice card holder. And the zipper for this is really cute because it has these like little crisscrosses here with the CC logo, and then on the other side you have the Chanel logo there. And then when you look at the strap, this is a thicker chain and you have the interwoven leather, and it's just a beautiful sparkle to the bag. The good thing about this is that you can convert this into a smaller strap, and then you can change the chain to become a longer strap, and it just looks really pretty, especially when you have the chain at the front. It just adds a nice extra decorative piece. It's really versatile when you use this, and I like wearing this crossbody because I am a little bit more petite and it just fits my body frame really easily. So I'm 5'4" and it just sits above my hip. And also this chain is not detachable, so it's always going to be there, but you can tuck the chain in so that you can just pull it all inside and then tuck it in there. And this is actually how I store the bag. You can actually have a little top handle just like that, so it's a little short one and it will just stay there. Then we have the Business Affinity. This is actually a much thinner strap compared to the classic flap, so they're both in a small size. But what I love about it is that because it's so dainty, it adds that extra touch of sparkle and it just makes it so much prettier. I did look at the medium version of this bag and they do have the bigger chain, which is similar to the small classic flap. There's something about this chain that is just extra dainty, extra precious, so I really like it. The amazing thing about the Business Affinity is that you have this top handle and you have these attachments on the side where the chain is strapped onto, and it just adds a beautiful touch. So you can wear this as a top handle and you can wear this as a shoulder bag, but you can't wear this as a short shoulder bag intentionally unless you cross these straps over and then you can shorten the chain. So you can make it a little bit shorter, but I am quite wary of wearing it like this. You may end up damaging the sides of the bag. Another thing to note is that this chain is a lot longer. So this is made for crossbody wear compared to the classic flap. It is a little bit awkward for those who are taller, and if they want to have a crossbody bag, the Chanel classic flap isn't really made for a crossbody function. And that is the overview of the functions of this bag. So now I'm going to go into the close-ups just to show the difference in measurements and what fits inside. Here we have the small size classic flap, and you can tell that this is the small size because it has these 7 diamonds across the top. And also a way to tell that it is the small size without counting is the bottom diamond. It's an incomplete diamond. Usually if you have the full diamonds, this would have had an extra cross stitch in here, but this is a kind of like a signature for the small. And for the medium, it would be the opposite, where you would have the cross stitch here, but you would have a missing cross stitch on the main flap. So across the top, we have the 23 centimeters here, and another way to measure would be the 9 inches across the top, and this is quite a good size. And just for reference, the length of this mobile phone is just under 16 centimeters, or it is 6¼ inches. And then for the height of this, we have about 15 centimeters, and on the base we have 6½ centimeters. Then we have the Business Affinity. These are actually larger diamonds than the Chanel classic flap. So if you have a look at the comparison of the two, you can instantly tell that the diamonds are a lot smaller here compared to the Business Affinity, but also the CCs again are a different size, and the Business Affinity has the extra detail in the corner to mark a little stamp of Chanel in there. Although the older classic flaps with the 24 karat gold hardware, they will have a little mark on there, but it's not the same as this one. It's more like an indentation of a little square or a little 3 lines in there. The measurement of this Business Affinity across the top, it is 19 centimeters across the top, or 7.5 inches. And then across the widest part, so we'll take into account the edges, 23 centimeters. So on the base we have 8 centimeters, and at the top we have about 5 centimeters, and the height of this bag is 15 centimeters. So that is a general comparison of the two bags. And then I just wanted to see what's inside and see how this opening compares to the opening inside the classic flap. So with this classic flap, because we have this extra double flap in here, it does take up a lot of room. So when you do open it and you start to measure inside, you would notice that the outside measurement of this bag will be very different to what actually is the size inside the bag. So inside we have from the top to the end, and that is 21 centimeters or 8 inches. So you've already lost a whole inch or 2 centimeters just from the inner flap compared to the outside. And then with the inner flap, because the stitching takes up a bit of the space, the measurements would be from the ability to open the bag from here to here would be 19 centimeters. So that's what can actually fit inside. And just for curiosity, this is 17.5 centimeters. And then with the inside of the Business Affinity, we have a huge opening. So see how this opens up really wide compared to the classic flap. And if we measure from the top end, it is 19 centimeters, so it's very wide. From the inside, if it's like a little bit tapered in, it is 14 centimeters, but that is just a little indentation. And if we close the bag first, the opening of this bag would be 5 centimeters, and when you open the bag, it can already extend to about 11 centimeters. So that's quite a big opening, and this is a very useful bag because it is very small and it's a similar size to the classic flap, and the shape of this bag is just so big and functional. It's so incredibly useful. So this outer pocket is a nice addition, and I really like how they added this. This is 15.5 centimeters, and then the height 10 centimeters or just under 4 inches. In terms of the capacity, because you're not having this inner flap in here, this fits so much more, and it is such a beautiful bag. Another thing to consider would be the strap length. So I'm taking from the top of this strap length all the way down, and this strap length is 24 centimeters here. And then if you make this a longer strap, and this is 44 centimeters. So here, just for comparison, we have the top handle, which is about 5 centimeters. We have 53 centimeters, so it is a lot longer. And if we cross this over, just so that we get the drop length if we did wear this as a little shoulder bag, 26 centimeters. So now I'm going to do a comparison of what can fit inside. So I have my usual items in here. I would use a bag organizer in here, but just for comparison, I'm just going to show you as it is. I have my mobile phone in here, my card holder, and then a lipstick, a power bank in here. So that fits in there nicely. And then I'll put the lipstick over on the top. So that is probably more than I would stuff inside this bag, because this is not a bag that you would really stuff everything in, because it could stretch and damage the bag. So it doesn't fit a whole lot, but it is enough for me to carry all of my things and what I need. I could probably fit another pair of keys in there, but I don't want to put it in without the bag organizer. So over here, you'll notice that this will actually fit a lot more items. And if I open it up, it's such a wide opening. And if I fit the same things in here, like my phone, put my card holder in that front pocket, my power bank, And then my lipstick in here. I could probably fit another, maybe a deck of cards if I really wanted to. And let's just stuff that in the side. Maybe play a bit of Tetris here so that it fits a bit nicer. So see how I could fit another whole deck of cards or another power bank or a camera in here. And then I also have more space at the front where I can put some more things. And then let's close this up and see how it all just closes in there. And then there you go, everything fits inside. And that double flap in the Chanel Classic flap does make a huge difference in what you can fit inside. So the next thing I want to say is how this wears. This classic flap, it can be worn in 3 different ways. So you can have it over the shoulder, just under your arm. That would be just my favorite way to wear it because this bag does get quite heavy and the chain strap can dig into your shoulder quite a bit because it does have a lot of weight to it. You can make the strap a lot longer, and this will be worn on the shoulder, just on the side, or you can wear it crossbody if you are a lot more petite like me. I'm 5'4" and 53 kg, and this fits like a charm for me because this fits like just above my hip. And that's where I feel like the bag is more secure. So that is how I like to wear the bag. Especially during the winter when you have a big coat, you can wear this over the top. And it doesn't feel too heavy when you do wear a nice coat. And then with the Business Affinity, this is made to be a crossbody bag. And just like we just measured, it is a lot longer on the strap. So you can wear this crossbody very comfortably. And also you can wear this on the shoulder. But I do find that it is a little bit long for me when I just wear it on the shoulder alone. A lot of the times I always wear this crossbody, but I also like to hold it by the handle here. And it's just a nice cute addition. Kind of reminds me of the little Elegant Lady Dior where you hold along the top handle, and it just has this beautiful elegance to it. The next thing I want to say is the price point of it, and you'll be surprised at the difference in the price point of these 2 bags because this is a whopping £7,000. And this is pretty ridiculous because yes, I do understand this is the classic flap and it's the iconic one, but there's a lot of similarities in how these 2 bags look, and this is half the price. This I got for £3,500 during April. I'm not sure how much it would increase by now, but it's still under £4,000 for sure. And it is a lot more bag for your money compared to the classic flap, which is why I'm very shocked at the difference in price, and they are both such gorgeous bags. So if you are more tighter on budget, but you want to have that first Chanel bag, this one you might actually want to consider because this is such an elegant bag, has the elements of the classic flap, and if anything it is a lot more functional than the classic flap itself. And if you want to see more videos having a look at the classic flap or the Business Affinity, have a look over here and I will see you there. Bye.